This episode of today's iconic moment in New York sports history is presented by Tri-State Cadillac dealers. June 15th, 1983, Keith Hernandez was traded to the Mets. A couple of Seinfeld and Baywatch cameos later, multiple books, and oh yeah, he became a member of the Mets Hall of Fame. It is an honor to be joined by Mr. I'm Keith Hernandez himself to talk about not only that legendary trade, but also his time in Queens. Keith, thank you for taking time on your days off, man. I know you're a very hard worker. I guess I'm going to just jump right into this. Take us back to that day. What do you remember about hearing the news, and what were your initial thoughts?
Well, we were playing a home game in St. Louis, and there was rumors swirling that I was going to be traded for around a month. And it was the deadline that back then, June 15th. And so midnight was the witching hour, I guess. And we went out to play that night and went out for batting practice, was taking my ground balls and my throws from my infielders. And then just as our group was ready to go up and take batting practice, the clubhouse man, Buddy Bates, came out and waved me and told me I had to come in. Whitey wanted to talk to me in his office, so I knew that I was traded, and now it was just a matter of finding out where I was traded. So I found out initially in his office. He told me he had traded me, then I asked him where to, and he said the Mets, and of course I was not very happy about that because the Mets at that point, since they had traded Seaver, I believe in '77, had been a last place team and never really recovered from that trade, and perennial last place finishers. And I'm coming from a World Series champion the year before in '82, where we beat Milwaukee in '7. So I was not very pleased about the trade.
Well, when you got traded, you came here, you helped turn the Mets around from last place to a World Series title in just 3 seasons. I like to call that worst to first. So take us through the locker room. What was it like to be a part of that turnaround?
It was a lot of fun. It first started in my first, I played the second half of '83, which was very unsettling. I was ready. I would wind up separating from my wife, and that winter off season. And then the fact that we pick up and move during the season, the Mets got me a house out in Greenwich. I rented for the remainder of the year. It was just very unsettling. And I didn't think I performed very well, even though I hit 300 for the second half. The next year, when I decided to stay, I came to spring training. I saw all the young talent, and we all know who they are. It would have been Darryl and Doc, and Wally Backman was given a second shot. Davey Johnson, who I played against when he was with the Braves, when I was a much younger player, was the manager. I just, within 10 days, 2 weeks, realized in spring training that this was a talented group around me, and they were all very young. And I was 30, or was I 30? What was I? I'm trying to think here. I would have been 29 years old, going on 30. That's about right. And it just, their enthusiasm, it came and infected me. I shouldn't say infected is the wrong word. But in a positive way.
Yep.
And I just felt their enthusiasm, and it really rejuvenated me. I mean, I had attained everything in my career. I had won a Most Valuable Player award. I'd won a batting title. I'd won a Gold Glove. And the final accomplishment was a team won, which was a World Series in '82, the prior year. So I really had to find new goals, and it was kind of a stagnant period for me, and the Mets provided that. It was a new challenge, and it was just fun to see all that talent. I mean, it was just extraordinary talent. I mean, the Mets didn't waste their draft picks, and it was right there in front of my eyes. I came in the best shape of my life and into spring training, and it all took off from there.
So I guess this is the last question. If you could go back in time and you could tell yourself that in 40 years you would have your number retired and become a club icon, what do you think young Keith Hernandez's response would be?
I never dreamed of my number being retired. And, the fact that there's only 6 six men up there in the rafters, as it's called, and only four players. It's just a great honor. And you know what? It's not the baby Metsies of Casey Stengel anymore. It's over 60 years of Met history now. And so there's been quite a few players that have come and gone in the Met uniform. And to be one of four players to be up there is just such a great honor. I never thought it would have happened. But boy, oh boy, it turned out it's amazing how most things turn out for the best, and this is certainly the case here. It not only changed my life in a positive way, but it also affected in a positive way my children, my brother, people around me, the people that I met in New York that I would not have met. It was life-changing.
Well, as a former athlete, to cross over into entertainment, you also had a positive effect on guys like myself, Michael Strahan, Victor Cruz. Like, there would be none of us if it wasn't for Keith Hernandez. So we thank you for that, sir. And thank you for joining us today.
You got it. My pleasure.